Executive Order number 5 issued on March 16th. This public meeting will be held via remote participation. Please note the agenda and supporting documents are on the village website at www.homerglenil.org, and this meeting is called to order. Will we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for a moment of silence for all those that are affected by the COVID-19 national pandemic. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Everyone, thank you. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray?
Present.
Trustee Holtz?
Present via Zoom.
Trustee Rogers?
Present.
Trustee Suisse? Trustee Suisse? Trustee Paznino?
Present.
Trustee Caprio?
Present.
Mayor Yudich?
Present. I'm trying to share one more time.
Yeah, I know she's on. Trustee Suisse? Let's try that again.
I don't think she has her phone. All right, well, we'll check.
Trustee Suisse?
Present.
Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Are there any amendments to this agenda? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of October 23rd, 2019 Village Board meeting?
I so move. This is Sharon, Trustee Suisse.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Gray, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. I'll abstain.
Aye.
Did Beth
I heard one, I didn't hear the other two.
and Ann didn't hear each other one?
I said aye.
Okay.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Reports and communications from mayor and other officers. This week we are celebrating our local heroes. If anyone has a family member or friend that is serving in the front lines they would like to celebrate, please send the information to a_blank at homerglenil.org. We will give them a shout out and thank you on our Facebook page. We are also planning a food drive for our local pantry located in Lockport for April 27th through the 30th. The village will have a trailer in front of the village hall for the collection of non-perishable items. Please stop by and place your items in the trailer. This is a contactless, safe way to support our residents who may be in the need. The village will deliver the items to the food pantry on May 1st. Information of all of our outreach efforts and resources available to our businesses and residents can be found on our website at www.homerglen.org. And I would like to put out a big thank you, and I'm sure the board would go along with me on this, for the entire medical field, doctors, nurses, maintenance crews that help out getting the hospitals cleaned up, our fire department, our police department. You know, all these people are putting out their, you know, they're putting their lives on the line to help all of us. So I think it would be very good for everyone here to follow the rules that they have from CDC. So this way we can protect ourselves and everyone around us, and especially the people that are helping everyone that's sick. I would also like to thank all the people that are abiding by the social distancing for the safety of their lives and everyone that they are around. And if anyone knows of anyone in our village that might need some help because of the COVID, please give us a call and we'll see what we can do to help them out. With that being said, we'll go to trustees. So we'll start over with Trustee Pasmino.
I have nothing to report.
Okay. Thanks, Ruben. Trustee Caprio.
I have no report. I will leave the festival to Trustee Gray.
Thank you. Trustee Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. On April 9th, Governor Pritzker recommended canceling summer events, concerts, and other large gatherings throughout the state. In light of that news, we scheduled and held a special meeting of the Homerfest Committee on April 14th to discuss the impact on our June event. 9 out of 10 of our voting members were able to attend either in person or via telephone, and we had many of our volunteers and supporters attend as well. After much discussion, we voted unanimously to recommend cancellation of the 2020 Homerfest. This was a brave decision, not lightly taken by any of our committee members. There are many rumors and theories swirling online and in social media, and thankfully our committee was able to put much of that rhetoric aside and concentrate on the facts. In the end, the safety and well-being of our guests and our residents was our only priority. I'd like to thank and commend our committee members and supporters for all of their hard work and dedication to Homerfest and to our community. We've been working hard since the close of our last event. We know this decision will be a disappointment, but we could not risk the health of our community. We look forward to bringing an amazing event in 2021. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you next year. Mayor, in addition to my report from Homerfest, I'd also just like to remind everybody that let's make sure during this time of isolation that we remember those who are suffering from depression, thoughts of suicide, and emotional anxiety. Social distancing does not need to be social despair. Be sure to reach out to those in your life and make sure that they are coping well. Remember, it's okay to not be okay. You know, it's okay to have some of this get to you, but you need to make sure that there are people in your lives that need help, that they're getting it. So first responders, healthcare professionals, they're all facing daily challenges they probably never could have imagined. But even heroes need help, so let's make sure we reach out to everybody and let them know that they're valued. And like you said earlier, give us a call here at the village if we can help out. We'll get people the resources that they need. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee. Trustee Holtz.
Hi, thank you. Two things. They're not really, I don't know, that's what I put it. They're not technically village related. Well, I guess one is. Keith, I'm going to request again that you slow down. It's really hard to understand the people in the room, but you talk so fast, it's really hard to understand you. So if you could just slow down a little, thank you. And I just want to thank everyone for the well wishes and the condolences regarding my mother's death and the lovely plant arrangement. I really appreciate the thoughtfulness, so thank you all.
You're welcome, and is there anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Trustee Rogers?
No, I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Trustee Suisse?
Thank you, Mayor. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Reporting for the Environment Committee. Today marks the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. Although we cannot celebrate in person this year, we can still take sustainable actions at home that support the environment. Simple things like reducing the use of plastic bags, reducing food waste, or becoming more aware of your energy usage. We can also celebrate Earth Day by exploring the village trails or planting a tree, since Arbor Day is on Friday. In honor of Earth Day and Arbor Day, the village is offering 3 different types of oak tree saplings, which are located near the
planting instructions for your convenience. It's no secret that trees help us feel better, both physically and emotionally, so pick up a few saplings for your yard. To celebrate Arbor Day, which is April 24th, the Homer Glen Environment Committee is sponsoring the Big Tree Champions Contest. We are asking residents to search for the biggest trees in the village of Homer Glen. Nominations for every species of tree that exists are encouraged to be submitted. The application and more information is posted on the village website. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Suisse. Village manager or village clerk?
Just a quick reminder to all the trustees, if you would like your report submitted into the minutes, please email me directly after the meeting. Thank you.
Village attorney?
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Public safety official?
Just real quick, Your Honor. I wanted to thank the board, thank the community for your support of those serving on the front lines. And I want to give a shout out to John and the EMA guys, because anytime we call them, they're there for us too. But thank you. I think it's great to work hand in hand with you, and we feel the support of everybody, be it the board, the community, village staff, and everybody. Just want to remind the public as well, it's getting warm out, so we're going to see an uptick in people checking for unlocked doors. So make sure your stuff is all locked. Want to remind the community, if you see something, say something. Call it in. Don't tell us the next day. Thanks to a resident calling in suspicious activity, we got on it right away and we were able to catch a car. I want to say a car burglar, a car burglar, not a car thief, but a car burglar. So anyway, we got to work hand in hand with this stuff. Anything suspicious out of the norm, don't be afraid to call us. And thanks everybody for your support.
Thanks, Lieutenant. Village manager?
Mr. Mayor and the board, and based on the feedback that we received from you at the last board meeting, we have some signs that are here tonight that I'm going to ask Trustee Gray to hold up, since Trustee Gray was the one who helped us design them, so I want to say thank you, Trustee Gray, for that. So we have the one that says, "We are in this together, be safe, be kind, hang tough, Homer Glen." And then we also have the ones that says, "Now more than ever, support our Homer Glen businesses." We received the shipment of these signs today, and they are going to be available for both our residents and our businesses as well. We're going to have them available to pick up here. If we have businesses who want to get some and have put in front of their businesses, we will actually, they can just email us or call us and we'll actually deliver those. For the residents, we'll post the signs in front of every neighborhood, the hang tough signs. And then if there are residents who want to pick them up, we'll have them available outside during normal business hours for them to pick those up as well. So we'll be putting some social media posts out tomorrow as well with the pictures of the signs as well.
Thank you. Next would be public comment.
There's none, sir.
None? Next would be consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. Is there a motion to approve the following items? 1. The accounts payable for the period of April 10th, 2020 through April 23rd, 2020, the amount of $484,585.99. And the treasurer's report of cash of investments for the period ending March 31st, 2020. Is there any discussion? Okay.
I'll second.
Trustee Gray, Trustee Caprio. And any discussion? Motion carries. Legislation and action items.
George, I have to take roll call.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Holtz?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Motion carries. Arbor Day proclamation. Is there a motion to approve the attached proclamation declaring April 24th, 2020 as Arbor Day in the village of Homer Glen?
So moved.
I so move. That's Trustee Sweet.
All right, let me read this and then we can vote on it.
Just a second.
I can second it.
Okay. Proclamation declaring April 24th, 2020 as Arbor Day in the village of Homer Glen. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting of trees. And where the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and where trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, lower our heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, and where trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in the village increase property value, enhance the economic vitality of its businesses and areas, and beautify our community. And trees, wherever are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Therefore, I, Mayor George Yukich, do hereby proclaim April 24th, 2020 as Arbor Day in the village of Homer Glen, and do hereby urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day to support efforts to protect our trees and to plant and care for trees to promote the well-being of this and future generations. Approved this 22nd day of April, 2020. Now, is there any discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Holtz?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 20-010, an ordinance granting a variance to permit fiber cement siding on the first floor of the dwelling in lieu of the exterior construction standards requiring that stone or brick material cover 100% of the aggregate total area of all first floor or story exterior walls, exclusive of doors, windows, and associated trim, 75-67A, applicability and scope, type of building or structure of Chapter 75 buildings of the Code of the Village of Homer Glen for certain real property located at the R2 Single Family Residential District at 14717 South Hawthorne Court, Homer Glen, Illinois.
I so move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Caprio, Pazmino, discussion. Do we have the homeowners here? Okay. Does anyone have questions for him?
Is that a sample you have there next to the podium?
It is.
Could you hold that up for us, please? Is that what you're proposing to put on the 3 feet, lower 3 feet?
This is going to be approximately 3 feet tall across the majority of the front of the home. And then it does step down just because of the grading of the property. It's going to go between 16 to 18 inches on the north side and then the south side, which is the garage side.
And is the fireplace clad in that too? Do I remember reading that?
The fireplace itself is located toward the center of the house. So the only portion of the fireplace you see is the chimney protruding through the center of the roof, and that is going to be also clad in stone.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
No.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Holtz?
Aye.
Motion carries. You're all set.
Thank you.
Number 3, is there a motion to approve ordinance 20-011, an ordinance approving a site plan amendment for the proposed parking lot improvements to Aqua Pools located in the C4 Highway Commercial District at 13445 West 159th Street, Homer Glen, Illinois. Aqua Pools, case number HG-1835SP. Do I have a motion?
Who was that?
Trustee Holtz, motion, yes.
I'll second.
Discussion.
I'd like to start out. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Is that Ann?
Go ahead.
It's your motion. Go ahead, Ann.
I just gonna say I have no problem with what they're asking for, so go ahead.
Well, I'd like to know what the hardship is on the turning radius for trucks in the parking lot. I mean, is that something that's changed since 2018 when we first initially approved this?
Actually, what happened was the original plans, because it is an existing parking lot. This is not a parking lot.
Correct.
All right? There were never planters in there. And due to circumstances with the village where I had different engineers to complete the project, they, George Stoughton inadvertently put that in the plan that I was not aware of the parking planters. And I was shocked when I found out we turned in an application to put a display pool in. I was talking to the village about doing that and doing the landscaping in front of the building. And they said, we haven't addressed the landscaping and the planters. And I said, what planters? I never planned on it. They were not supposed to be there. They were not there for the last 30 years. So, also, it would make it difficult to snowplow there. It's kind of narrow. They've taken so much of the property and they have an exit to go out on the east side of the property. It would all be difficult. The planters just really encumber the turning of cars, trucks, everything.
So when you had proposed the addition on the back of the building in 2018, the storage structure, is that what triggered making the rest of it come into compliance? Is that BJ or Joe?
Yeah,
Is that why his architect or engineer or whatever put the landscape planters on there at that time?
site and landscaping plan, yeah.
So really, even if he had been aware of it in 2018, it would have been an issue. He would have either needed a variance or in 2018. So it's not just an oversight. It would have been we would have still had voted on either giving the variance or not.
That's correct. I just want to point out one item. They're taking out one of the 3 handicap spaces, and that's controlled by ADA. We cannot approve that one, so they need to put back the 3rd handicap stall because they got over 50 parking spaces.
We can do that.
Yeah, well, I understand there's a lot of things from 2018 when I was on board, that were supposed to be done, are still not done, sign included. I know that's not what this is about, but it sort of encompasses everything. I just don't like I can't do any of it versus let's compromise and do some of it. That's my only, we need to get to a certain compromise amongst us as a board and a village. That is a beautiful piece of property on 159th Street. It sets a precedent, and I want to make sure that we're setting the right precedent. I'm not using you as that precedent, but unfortunately we've been asking for this.
Well, I agree with Trustee Caprio. The precedent is our code says that you need these landscape islands at the end of a parking aisle, and that's why your engineer or architect put them in there, according to our code. Now again, to Trustee Caprio's point, if you had come in and said, I've got a dock door there and I can't swing an 18-wheeler, can I lose one of them? There'd probably be a lot more. There'd be less resistance on our part to say, yeah, show us the schematics and show us the turn radiuses and everything, but just wait until the very end and then come in and say, I'm not going to do any of these.
Well, actually, this isn't the very end. If you look at the drawings that were turned in when the building was originally applied for, there are no parking planters on it. And it's an existing parking lot. It was there. It's not new. It's the same parking lot.
But once you improve the property and you put on that big addition,
that's correct.
Bring the rest of the property into compliance.
So
that triggered bringing all of it into compliance. That's why your engineer or architect put those on there. He knew that the restrictions and that the regulations were that everything had to come into compliance now. So that's why they're on there. And I believe that I was looking at it earlier, the plan from 2018, and they are on there.
Well, in fact, they're not. We have a plan.
Well, I have a very low-res printout. It's 8.5 by 11. I can see them right.
You see parking lines. You don't see parking planters. I mean,
When you blow it up, it says landscaped
necessary.
parking island typical? Is that correct, BJ?
Yeah, that's correct. They were included in the.
They're all landscaped, but to say typical landscape island, curved landscaped island. All of them are, there's 7 of them, I believe.
So may I interject? I see a picture here. Are those half-moon end caps? Are those landscape? Are those just painting? What are they?
Proposed striping, your honorable trustees and mayor. I'm the engineer for the project that put those on there.
Okay.
There were previous drawings that were submitted as well. I just wanted to make one point to clarify. The turning radiuses in there are adequate for fire trucks, but they're not adequate, and the function is not adequate for a semi-trailer. This function that he has here would be after hours, so during the day he would adequately be able to park vehicles, but it would be inadequate for him to be able to maneuver 18-wheeler semi-tractor trailers, which he has deliveries after hours, and those islands would interfere with that process. And that's the reason why Jim is trying to articulate, the precedents that has occurred here. There's also some communication with IDOT that indicated that they were not recommending the return of islands or lighting to any of the islands that were located within the easement areas, which are on the property where storm sewer is located. So Jim is just following the protocol that he was more or less told to follow on the advice of others.
On the advice of IDOT? IDOT's extended all the way back into that property?
On the advice of his attorney after communication with IDOT. Anything he would put in there would be at risk. If he was to have an island or a street light or conduit for that street light, sprinkler system, any of that would be at risk. If there was ever a break or something like that, he would be responsible for that repair.
In the easement of 159th Street?
No, there's a 40-foot easement that cuts the property in half.
That's where we approved building a building on top of.
No, sir, that is not an easement. The building was built on top of my property, which is a private owned pipe. Dan is referring to where the parking lot is now, the area you're looking at in the center. That's a 40-foot easement that belongs to the state of Illinois controls.
So you're telling me that the easement that I see the 2 end caps on is a 40-foot easement that you have no control over, and if something were to break underground, they would be able to disrupt that?
That is correct.
That is correct.
The parking, I'm guessing between the 2 story feet. Again, I really have empathy for the fact that, I empathize with you in the fact that you need semi-trailers to turn and do things they need to do. I just don't want this to be a blanket, I don't have to do anything anymore, and I'm free and clear. I'm sympathetic. Again, I have issues because I want to see a sign that's complete. I drive by it every day. I live on 159th Street. I know that's a selfish thing to say, but it's a true thing to say. I think it's a great business. I want to continue to have your business in Home and Glen, but I really feel that there's some aesthetics that need to be addressed. My personal view.
I'd like to make a couple comments to Trustee Hull. So I feel that the businesses on 159th have been subjected to huge negative impact from the construction project, number 1. Number 2, this is an existing business, it's a long-time business, and I can understand Carla's point, Trustee Caprio, sorry, with regard to new development, but I do feel that there should be some sort of grandfather allowance applied to this particular situation, especially when you factor in the easement that runs through the middle of the parking lot. And then, lastly, I don't see uniform standards being applied to existing properties that have these landscape islands. For example, the Jewel Plaza, for example, the Meyer Plaza. they're not maintained. So I get why we want to encourage them, but what's the point if they're not going to be maintained by the property owner, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So in this particular situation, given that Aqua Pools property has been a long-term and successful business and a great asset to our community, I think there are several reasons why hardship would apply here and support for granting this amendment. Thank you.
Jim,
I would just say that this is Trustee Rogers. I would say that I agree with Trustee Caprio and Trustee Gray. This is, something that for 2 years was never brought up, never addressed. The snowplow comment is not going to, doesn't weigh too much on me because I've been in that world, so that doesn't really weigh anything on me. But I would just say that I agree with Trustee Gray and Trustee Caprio.
Trustee Suisse, have you?
I have no further comment.
Okay. Jim, they're showing three islands, actually 4 or 5 if you go into the back corners. And you're talking you can't get a semi in there in the daytime. Nighttime would be a little bit easier. But which driveway are you talking about the trucks coming in? And I've got a screen in front of me. I don't think he's got a screen in front of him.
He should be able to see
Yes,
it.
All right. Where it says 267.66 feet. If you go straight down, you've got, we'll call them umbrellas because that's what it looks like right now. So you have an umbrella to the east side, you have an umbrella to the west side. Where would the sunlight be coming through at?
Basically, the traffic flow generally was set up to where the trucks would come in from the main entrance and they would go to the rear of the building, to the loading dock in the back, at which time they would have to exit and then make their way around the one of the 2 driveways to, if they're going to go to the east, they could go out the same entrance, but I really would prefer to have the truck traffic exit the property next door that we annexed and put a cross-access easement in so the trucks could exit there. Guess you'd have to come and see the trucks pulling the driveway.
Well, all right, so looking at the big picture with the additional part of the next parcel where you have the driveway going out to the street, so this would be on the east side of the property. That's not big enough for a semi to pull in and make a turn going out of the second or coming into the first and going out east?
I'm not understanding the question. Can you repeat that?
You've got the entrance in the middle of the property that comes in, then you've got the street that goes across, well, you have a parking lot that goes across and then goes into the other side where you've got the turn coming in.
Okay.
All right, so a truck would have to go back down to the building in order to unload?
It would.
Right, it's coming down here.
This is again where I think the engineer would be the key to this, to knowing what the turning radiuses are of a standard 18-wheeler and which way would be the best way to traverse in and out. Lay that down on the paper first, then put your parking around that. I mean, you haven't striped anything at this point anyhow. So you still have the flexibility to make a lane where you need to make lane. I understand now the sensitivity to the IDOT easement. That is not part of Mr. Greco's letter, I don't believe. It's not really in, it's kind of vaguely referred to. If you can't build something there because of, future access, then we just need to be made aware of that. And then, make sure that we'll work with you to try to ease this burden as much as possible. But I think to go from a plan that we had approved in 2018, that everybody in this room said, yes, we're okay with that showed all of these things, and now to come up 2 years later and just say, we're not doing any of these. I'm no engineer, I don't know what a truck turning radius is, so I don't know what your preferred traffic pattern will be on your piece of property. You know where you take your deliveries in. You guys need to map that out and then put your parking around that and then see if you can fit some of these these landscape islands in. I think we're going too far here right now, you know, to go from everything to nothing.
Well, it's not gonna be nothing. You
Can
should-
I just add one thing, real quick? The 24-foot entryway down the middle of that property, I get it, that's our ingress. If we could just do something with the islands, whatever you want to call those, curbs, islands, landscape, fronting 159th Street, that back one on the 40-foot easement, at the end of the day, I get it, you need the access, you need the ingress egress. No problem by me on the ingress egress. At the back of that property, I don't want to say I'll give you anything you want, but I'd be happy to accommodate whatever we need to accommodate. But to just say I'm not going to do anything, I'm not pleased with that. I still like the sign to look better. You can keep the same sign.
For what it's worth, the brick is next to the sign right now, it's gonna be done this week.
Okay,
And by the way,
I was about
I'd like to know that there is a temporary easement there, and the state of Illinois is still not done with the front of the store.
I'm not picking on you, I'm being honest with you. I travel it, I see it. You know, if you had to get trucks in and out of there and just landscape, just the front, when I say landscape, I mean nothing more than rocks and a couple shrubs.
You know, do you happen to have the landscape plan that we proposed?
Not with me.
Because, I mean,
BJ, you have it?
if you guys go back 5 years ago, if you remember, the front of the store was all landscaped. There was sprinklers, there was trees, there was bushes, there was rocks. It looked beautiful.
Yeah.
The state ripped everything up there, so, and I've been dealing with that for 5 years. So.
I've been here 21 years, I've seen it every single day, but I know. I want to make sure we're making the right decisions to move forward now that 159 Street's a highway.
Can I chime in? Can I not chime in for just a second? I know I usually speak when spoken to. I'm the engineer. The question was asked, what's the turning radius for a truck? The minimum turning radius is 42 feet. You actually would actually disrupt all of the aisle spaces. You essentially wouldn't have a parking lot if you were to try to redesign it with proper radiuses. This is the reason why you have that ability. If there's nobody parked there, it's after hours, someone could pull in and can pull in straight to the back, next to the one-story metal shed. It becomes a non-issue as far as the turning radius, which more or less is quite a turn, versus not having a functional parking lot at all.
Are these islands too large? Can we reduce those?
No, that's my point. You wouldn't have a functional parking. You'd have only parking next to the building and along the far edges. You wouldn't have any center parking at all.
Okay, in order to make a full turning radius for a truck, but I mean, you know, just so that they can get in and out safely and make their delivery, there has to be a way for them to get onto this property, come in the main entrance, head south.
Once they come in,
Once they what?
the back, maneuver it, and back up against the warehouse, but the problem is getting from 159th Street to where that rear entrance is next to the one-story metal shed.
The truck traffic also, there is an entrance if you go to the east, and trucks that are headed westbound, they would turn. It's not like they would all just come in one entrance and go out there. The trucks kind of go how they want to go. They'll come in the entrance that we see here, but if you go this entrance here, but if you go to the east, there's another entrance. They bought the lot next door, so if they have an entrance, they have access going both ways. Well, the trucks will come in either way. They're not going to go down the Carter Road and make a U-turn, go down. It's easy to turn in the entryway that I provided.
I can attest to that. I mean, given the space down, those trucks, I mean, I can just see them running over these islands and destroying them. The middle of these islands, are they going to have some sort of shrubbery or grass in the middle? Grass. Or landscape. They're going to run all over them. If you
I don't disagree.
We have
truck, right?
5 miles of 159th Street, which are coming up to be developed right now. Right? We have Shorewood Auto, which is currently our building. We have the gas and wash coming, we have the Sitco over by Twin Lakes that just finished up. We have many developments out there, and they all have deliveries. They all are getting over this. Some,
But they're all not all brand new.
no, that's correct, but
But he's an existing, like he stated before. And he's making the parking lot nicer and better. I mean,
I'm not disputing the fact that the parking lot looks great, and it looks great the way it's paved and everything. What I'm saying is that there has to be something between 7 parking islands and none. I can't imagine that Mr. Greco is taking pencil to paper, and the only thing he can come up with is that we cannot accommodate anything. That the only point of compromise here is all or nothing. And again, you know, we can vote on this, but it doesn't sound like there's great enthusiasm for it. So it's either going to, in my eyes, it looks like it's headed for failure, or we table it and it goes back for, you know, another look. That's where it looks like.
I just want to point to a couple things out. Ruby and I were not on board in 2018, number one, so we didn't all vote then. Number 2, Aqua Pools is their long-term business, and they decided to stay here and reinvest in the business here and double the capacity of their building space and expand their business instead of leaving and going to another community. And I think, given the long-term history of them and the site plan restrictions and the fact that the warehouse is in the back there, that these are accommodations that we can make to a loyal business in town. And considering the negative impact that 159th Street construction project has had, you know, this is an existing business. I totally get the desire for new construction and wanting these aesthetically pleasing landscaping things, but it just doesn't make sense for this particular property. And I would at least like somebody to acknowledge the fact that where they are existing in the village, they're not being maintained. So I don't know why we're ignoring that fact.
And I'll respond, Carlo here. I agree. I have many friends who shop at this business. I know this business for a long time. I am in concurrence with Trustee Gray. In the sense that I just want to see some accommodations, not all, and I'd be perfectly fine with it. There's got to be an amenable way to do this, do it intelligently, do it architecturally, without costing a lot of money, but yet do it with good aesthetics. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not asking for the world. I'm asking for a happy compromise.
Can we be specific though as far as what you'd like to see? So
I already said the frontage on 159th Street, I'd like that to just have a different appearance. Better, worse, my better, your worse, your better, my worse are different. I think there was commitments made in 18 that I think need to be taken care of. Agree that new businesses we're going to have stricter rules on, but a long-standing business, I think we owe it to them to give them some opportunity to at least be semi-compliant, but yet fruitful and successful. So, you know, there's got to be a way, the engineer I think was online, or attorney.
And, yes.
There's got to be a way to make those islands a little different in the front. Plant something there. It doesn't have to be, no disrespect, Sharon, doesn't have to be trees or bushes. It can be, you know, rock makes a pretty picture. You know, just some things that even if they run it over, it's not going to be, you're not going to fix old habits by just continually saying, well, trucks are used to going there for 35 years. I'm sorry, truck drivers change. You know, we can say that about Gowda Road. I've been hearing about Gowda Road for the last 100 years. I'm done with Gowda Road. Trucks go down there one way or another. You know, you can't change bad habits. You know, I proposed that when 159th Street got built, we were going to have semis barreling down 159th Street when we wanted the gas station. Everyone said, no, we wouldn't. I'm sorry, I walk 159th Street every day. There's trucks barreling down 159th Street every single day. So, I just want a happy compromise, and I'd be happy to help.
Jim, you have, by the picture I'm looking at right now, you have 5 islands that you're going to be putting in, 2 in the front that look like the umbrella, 1 in the back, and then 2 on the side. Then you have your sign up in the very front. The sign is what you were going to be putting the brick around, and that's where it wasn't allowed, it was moved back because it was.
It was in the tank.
Right.
George, if I can interrupt you for 1 second. Mr. Eiler, those umbrella things that George is referring to, those are not islands, correct? Those are striped, is that striped pavement? It's just paved.
Well, then the island's the piece that's under this black and white with the circles in it?
That's what I proposed.
Just to clarify.
All right. So what you're looking for right now is you want one of those removed, or two of them removed. There's no way that the whole thing would have to go away in the first place. Because Keith keeps saying that from all to nothing.
Well, Mr. Greco's letter says that he'd like to do away with all of the landscaped islands and propose just paint striping on the pavement where you see red lines right now. Is that correct, Mr. Greco?
That is correct.
So where you see red lines on today's drawing would just be paint on pavement. Where you see black lines that show a shape of an island, there are 7 of them, those would all be deleted. So that's all to nothing. We had 7 islands, now they're proposing taking out all 7 and coming in with 5 painted areas.
So you're talking 2 in front of the building, which wouldn't have to be changed at all, so we're both on the same page.
Right.
Then next to the drive-in, you have another one. At the end of the drive-in, you have another one, so it's on both sides of what the sign is right now. And then you have one all the way down at the bottom of the double one, or the longer one, and then you have one on the east side. Or those aren't going to be landscaped? Are those going to be lights? No, the one below it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, they're talking about eliminating all.
All right, so, Mr. Greco, why would they have to eliminate all of them to accommodate what Jim's trying to do?
Yeah.
Did we lose him?
You there?
Originally, there was a request not to put any islands in. Jim originally had the site plan as is. He was uninformed of the 2018 decision to install the islands. I've listed the harships that apply to the IDOT and truck movement for the center island, but you are correct. There could be a window of opportunity for islands maybe that are located to the far east, where the existing light pole is located right now, and the 2 triangular shaped areas that are in front of the 1-story metal shed. Unless Jim has a specific objection to that, I think you could maintain flow, but that center herringbone lane should be kept open.
So the 40-foot easement, the 40-foot easement you're saying should be kept open, and no islands, just striped. I'm just trying to clarify this. And then the 1-story masonry, or metal shed, to the eastmost portion of the property, you could do something there, and you could do something straight north of that. Yeah, I get it, that's the 24-foot road coming in. I'm sorry, we'll get over this quickly. If those are just striped, I mean, why can't we just reduce these islands? I still don't hear an answer to that.
Well, and I thought the island was going to be around the sign, so that would eliminate all the problems, sir.
Yeah.
So,
Mayor,
yes, Bill.
Mayor, and Trustee Rogers, and this goes back to the conversation that I had with staff a little bit this week, and, I have said exactly what Carla was saying. There's got to be somewhere in the middle that we can meet here. We approved this in 2018, it was fine in 2018. Almost 2 years later, it's not okay. I had suggested tabling it so that we could tweak it. The petitioner wanted a vote tonight, so I think that we just need to vote because this is what's on the table. There's so many different plans going back and forth. Oh, we can do this or we can do that. It's going to get confused again. There needs to be a vote or a table, and we need to move on.
This is Trustee Sweet. I agree with you, Trustee Rogers, because they could say they want to do this, they want to do that. It's either table, you come back and show us exactly, because it gets too mixed in. Or we vote. You vote it and let them come back with a new plan. Or tweak it to the point where we can actually see and it's in print what they're promised to do.
And I kind of agree with you too. I don't know, you know, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing where some of them are, and as for the painting on the thing, Jim, I think the best thing that we can do here tonight, right now, is to table it. Let's find out exactly what has to go up there and what doesn't. Looking at the property up in the front, that's in front of your building, you have 2 parcels, and that's going to be landscaped? What's going to be right in front of the store?
There's a whole landscape plan that,
Wait, let me finish with what I'm talking about. The property in front of your existing store,
yes,
where the dots are and so that's all landscaping up there?
that will be landscaping, but unfortunately, IDOT has not completed the drains there. Joe, I think I've shown to you. They put the sewers, there's a sidewalk. Here's the sidewalk people walk on. The drain is now 18 inches. They have to change that. So I can't really do much in that area.
Okay.
And that goes along the whole front of the property. They are supposed to, fix that.
All right.
But they haven't.
My thought here is, so you have those 2 parcels. If you eliminate the ones that are inside the parking lot, right off of 159th Street, where you have a fairly large one, it's underneath the first umbrella. And then you have the umbrella next to the other one, there's nothing behind it. If you did the one in front of the building to the west, you did the one to the east, you did the one on the east side of the property itself, that's still a fairly big piece of property. Because see, all these pictures that you're looking at, all of them are different.
They're distorted.
So we can get it to where, and then you've got some far in the back on the east side, and you've got one that's again further in the back on the west side of the back end of the property. So you could actually have 6 of them in here if we eliminated the front 2, which that seems to be the area where you can't get the trucks in and the truck back out. You still have landscaping in front, so that's it. Because the landscaping that goes all the way in the back, that's not going to benefit anyone. No one's going to see it, except the people pulling in the parking lot. So
He still will need a variance though, because our code calls for landscape islands at the end of a parking aisle. So that's the reason in 2018 your architect or engineer drew those in there. It was to bring them into compliance. And again, to Trustee Holtz's point about, I get it, you're a long time business here, and we do appreciate that. There's nobody beating you up on this board. We approved the plan in 2018, and I do know that 2 of the trustees were not here in 2018, but it's not that we're imposing this upon you. When you put on that addition onto your business in 2018, you triggered this. You triggered having to come into compliance. This has nothing to do with the fact that you've been here for a long time. It was that. Nobody was going to impose that upon you if you had to put that addition on the back of your building. That's what triggered this. So all I'm saying is that I looked at this in 2018 with the addition and knowing that, okay, you have to come into compliance and everything looks like it's all buttoned up, staff did their job, your architect or landscape or architect or engineer did his job or her job, and everything was great. And now we're coming in, we're finding out that, hey, wait, this doesn't work. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I relied on the good professional advice of architects, engineers, and staff in 2018 when I made that decision. I now need to have the good professional advice of architects, engineers, and staff to show me it doesn't work. You need to be flexible, Trustee Gray, and move some of these items around and give them a variance in order to make this piece of property work. And I'm not seeing that right here. All I'm hearing is that truckers want to do whatever they want to do, and we need to scotch all of these landscape items. And it's like, wait, there's got to be something in between those 2 points. That's all I'm saying.
That's why I'm suggesting make this easy. Let's table it. Let's let staff and us work on this with.
Can I speak for a second?
Yes.
I made the motion. I would like to know from the petitioner, Mr. Eiler, would you like us to table it or would you like a vote?
I'd like to take a vote.
Okay, well then I'm not going to motion to table and I'm not going to rescind my motion.
Okay. There's no other comments. So, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Suisse?
No.
Trustee Caprio?
No.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
No.
Trustee Holtz?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
No.
Okay, the noes have it. So right now, it's in limbo.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Let's see. Next, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 20-012, an ordinance amending 83-68 of the Code of the Village of Homer Glen, increasing the number of Class Q liquor licenses issued within the Village of Homer Glen. It is understood that the number of Class Q liquor licenses retirement facility will increase by 1.
I so move.
Trustee Caprio,
I second.
Trustee Rogers. Is there a discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
I abstain, conflict of interest.
Thank you. Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Holtz?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 20-013, an ordinance assigning an available Class Q liquor license retirement facility to Franciscan Communities, Inc., DBA Marion Village, located at 15624 Marion Drive, Homer Glen, Illinois.
I so move again.
Mr. Caprio,
I second.
Trustee Rogers. Discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Pazmino?
Abstain, conflict of interest.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Holtz?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, is there a motion to cancel the 2020 Homer Fest event?
So moved.
Trustee Gray,
Second.
Trustee Caprio. Is there any other discussion?
Only that Trustee Gray has already expressed the facts, and we're upset about canceling, and we will renew ourselves in 2021.
And it'll be better, so much better.
I'm sorry, there was somebody else.
I will say, Mayor, that my husband and I had the opportunity to drop off some hand sanitizers to the fire department, and I spoke with the fire department a bit about this, and you know, they have grave concerns about this as well. They don't know, like any of us do, if they will be able to support us, because right now their focus is on caring for these virus victims, and then not only that, once their staff, their people are exposed to it, then they're in quarantine for 14 days afterwards. So they don't have the confidence to know that they could support us with this, and we would definitely need that. Along with that, I would say that the Homer Fest relies so much on our volunteers. I myself know that I was there every single day volunteering. I would not be there this year volunteering. I'm not going to put myself and my family at risk for that. I'm following the scientists. I'm looking at what I'm seeing. And there's just so much unknown. And to commit to contracts and, deposits, the fireworks people, they could potentially not even exist then. Because I'm assuming that I'm assuming that there's a lot of towns that are going to be canceling these fireworks. So they could just not going to be ordering stuff or doing any of this stuff. And the carnivals, those people have to be getting huge cancellations as well. And to bring people together I'm not even going to speak to that. I'm going to just talk about the fact that the staff and the support that we need to manage this fest, it's just not going to be there. Not only that, the expense. There's going to be people who, as we know, there's more people on unemployment right now than ever. And are they going to have that disposable income to pay for these tickets and to do this? I just think it's prudent for us to put it on pause and come back in 2021 bigger and better than what we had planned for 2020.
Yeah, and I just want to add one more thing. Beth, this is Carlo, I appreciate your thoughts, and I'm sure Trustee Gary would agree. We always consider this fest as self-funding to a certain extent, and we definitely do not want to put on an event that we are costing the taxpayers money with no expected generated revenue. I understand people would want to get out and have a good time and socialize, even at a social distance. However, it is imperative to understand that that's almost impossible in a festival environment. So I totally agree with you. I appreciate your comments, and I never even, and I shouldn't say I never thought about the first responders who may not be there and be available for us had we needed them for an emergency because of this pandemic. So very good thoughts. Thank you.
After we discussed this in a meeting with the fire department, with EMA, with the highway department, with the police department, and we had one person, well, in the meeting that you had, Disneyland closed up. Disneyland closed up. Everyone else shouldn't be doing anything either, because the way it is right now, the Carnival Company has had nothing but cancellations. In fact, I don't even know if he has any reservations right now for anyone. Lockport stepped back, we stepped back, and he informed one of the committee members from the parade and festival that they can't do anything until Disneyland opens up in the first place. And right now, they don't plan on doing that for a little while. So we took into all that consideration. The same thing with all the vendors, because there's no one going to be there. And just for me, myself, I would never take a chance of throwing someone under a bus by having a festival with not knowing what's going to turn out in the next few months with this COVID-19. There's still people dying. There's still millions and millions and millions of people that have never been tested. So this still could blow up a hell of a lot bigger than what it is right now. And I think they did the right thing by, and I also agree with the Home Fest not going through this year. We can wait till 2021, and hopefully by that time, we are all safe and we can get everyone together, and no one would feel uncomfortable by coming to it. So with that,
I believe,
Wait, Mayor, can I just add one more thing?
Yes.
Out of respect for the Public Safety Committee, I know that you all have not been able to meet on this and have a consensus on this. So I just want to put that out there that I do empathize with you. These are just really weird times, and I'm sure this is something that you all would have had on your agenda to discuss. So I just wanted to put that out there.
As chair of the Public Safety Committee, I would just like to chime in. I did talk to the fire chief last night at length. I was already leaning to an agreement with cancellation, strictly from a logistics standpoint. Having been on the FEST committee for 4 years and understanding the logistical complications and the monetary complications of postponing, because we've looked at this issue strictly from a weather standpoint, never thinking, from a health standpoint. So given the current situation and the foreseeable future unknown, you factor in all of that, and then you factor in the fire district position, I absolutely think that canceling is the right thing to do.
okay.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray,
Aye.
Trustee Holtz,
Aye.
Trustee Rogers,
Aye.
Trustee Suisse,
Aye.
Trustee Caprio,
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to accept the bid proposal from the Kenneth Company for the design, procurement, and installation of playground equipment at Glenview Walk Park in the not-to-exceed amount of $199,999?
So moved.
So moved.
Trustee Gray, Trustee Rogers, discussion.
I would just say, I'm not going to reiterate what you all are seeing in front of you. This went out to the trustees and to the residents of Glenview Park.
with several options, and there was a tiebreaker. So we decided to put the tiebreaker back out again, and Ruben jumped in at any time, because I know you're part of this, but so we put the, put it back out again, and then this design came in, you know, kind of, I mean, it kind of was way ahead of the other. I think what's really put this design in front of any other park that you probably see anywhere is that zip line. And it's hard to see from the drawings, but there is a zip line that goes across there. And I think that's just really going to make this, you know, something really unique in Homer Glen that people are going to like. One of the things that staff and I have talked about is potentially taking away some of these smaller things that you see here. There's like a little circle thing you see there, like a green circle. And then over on the right, that manila-looking kind of, I think it's more like a teeter-totter thing. To take those away so that we could offset the cost of putting some shelter in there, and then still coming in at a budget that's acceptable. But I think the zip line is going to make this really unique to Homer Glen. I'm not a fan of putting in a water fountain here. As the Parks Committee will tell you, that we have a lot of problems with water fountains in our parks. And based on some of the feedback that we got from residents, they don't want to light there either. So that's something that I don't think we need to do. But I think it's going to be a unique park. And I reached out to the Parks Committee and asked them to come up with a name. And I'm asking you all to, you know, think about a name as well. Something different besides just naming every park after the subdivision that it goes into. So just something to think about. We have time to work on it and tweak it. But I think that this is a park that the residents here are going to be proud of, and the residents in Homer Glen are going to be proud of too.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Rogers.
Mayor, I have a question. First of all, Trustee Rogers, I put in a verbal to you my suggestion for a name. Do I need to submit that to someone? Should we send it out to someone at the village staff?
I think there'll be a process for that. Trustee Gray will get to that because the feedback that we're getting. But I think there's going to be a more formal process to go to the trustees. And the park committee, we put it out. I haven't heard really anything back. I have my own thoughts on what I'd like to call it. But it's something that will be more formalized.
Okay, another question I have is, when we brought this before the board, there was a lot of support from Glenview Walk Estates residents, but one in particular was one who lives right next to this piece of property. I don't know if it was to the north, south, east, west, but they were in support of the park, but all they wanted us to do was be cognizant of the relationship of the one end of the park to their property line, and I just want to make sure that either staff or somebody throughout this process that was addressed.
Sure, I've spoken to the Burks that are currently getting close to finishing their house just to the east or south of the property, just be to the right on this image. And we talked through the options, kind of saying the other options where it wasn't exactly clear where it would be located in the lot. We had told the designers to try and get it centrally located so it wouldn't be close to that home or a potential other home that would be to the west or north of that, because that is also for sale. So you can see here that the swings are on the far right. That's about 70 feet from the property line. So it's quite a distance from where that property line begins. And even on that side of the house, there's not too many windows at the front of the house. So we think that it's considerate of the neighbors' concerns.
Okay. Thank you.
Wasn't that, we were supposed to put a tree somewhere so it kind of block or act like a buffer?
Right, so the design doesn't include any landscaping, but I think that's certainly something that we would add to.
I know Parks, we voted on giving you guys a tree for that, for giving this project a tree.
Right, for the environment, yeah.
Exactly.
Right, the site can use some shade, so it kind of kills two birds with one stone.
Yeah, the environmental committee has already committed to putting a tree there.
Yes, that is correct. And we were going to wait to the fall or like our September, maybe October planting.
Yeah, and I got to commend all of you for the diligence. I know people in that community who really will embrace that park. And I wasn't on board for the initial portions of that, but I was very familiar with what was going on. So I applaud everybody for their due diligence and their efforts in putting this together and making sure it got done to a good result. So thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
I forgot where I left off last time. So Trustee Holtz?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Is there a motion?
Yeah, I have something I would like to bring up on the new business.
Okay. Go ahead, Trustee Holmes.
Thank you. So the Illinois Emergency Management Act grants the governor certain powers for a time period that we not to exceed 30 days. And since that initial 30-day proclamation, the legislature has not acted. And there's no language in the act that allows him to issue a potential disaster proclamation for an additional 30 days, which he did on April 9th. I personally feel that the legislature needs to convene and address this issue. So that being said, in the event that they do not convene to address the issue, and the possibility of legal action if you should extend the order past April 30th for stay at home, I would like to know what our village plans to, what position do we plan to take in terms of business owners who want to reopen, residents who want to go about their normal life, specifically using our park facilities, etc. I want to know what is our intention of the board in terms of enforcing the possible extension after April 30th. Do we plan to issue fines or citations, which we've seen happen in other states? Do we plan to possibly revocation of licenses for business owners now that we have a business license policy? I kind of want to get the opinion of the rest of the board regarding this. I really don't want to wait until the next meeting because that's not until May 13th. So I just kind of want to get a general consensus on what people's opinions are in terms of, are we going to sort of take a standby approach and not necessarily enforce? What is the opinion of the rest of the board?
Well, I can pretty much answer that. If anyone wants to chime in, you're more than welcome. The governor has decided what he wants to do and listening to the CDC of how they think it should go on right now. They feel that it's too early. And as I said earlier in the remarks at the beginning of this, there are 378 million people in the United States alone. And right now they have tested about 2 million of them. I don't think we're close to getting an answer, and I don't want to play God and say, it's okay, everyone get together. So I would rather go with what the CDC said and not take a chance of us jeopardizing anyone's health or life. So right now, I would say that the best thing to do is kind of go along with what the state says and what the CDC says, and wait until May 18th or the 25th, and he hasn't even extended anything yet, but if he does, the word is it's going to be between the 18th and the 25th, and let's see what happens in the next few weeks, because right now, all I'm hearing is the numbers are just ridiculously high of people dying and people having the COVID virus. And we haven't even gotten to the bottom of the mountain to walk up. There's that many people that should be tested first. So, anyone else have anything to say?
I would like to, Mayor. Trustee Holtz, this is Trustee Gray. You know, the governor and I belong to different political parties, and I know that there's sometimes a knee-jerk reaction to, you know, to go along those lines, and I'm not necessarily going to do that. We don't agree on everything, but I say we follow the governor's, the state's mandates, their recommendations. We did that for, like I said in my remarks when we started. You know, what started the conversation about canceling Homerfest was just on the recommendation by the governor that he recommended that that municipalities throughout the state consider canceling events like that throughout the summer, just because of, erring on the side of an abundance of caution. The governor, again, while we might belong to different political parties, he's in touch with a lot more experts, professionals, higher level people than I'll ever meet, including the federal and international levels. To the mayor's point, we have a lot of people in this country that have not been tested, but we've got the highest infection rate in this country and the highest death rate in this country. We are supposed to lead the world, and we've eclipsed everybody else's numbers, and we've been being cautious. So if we throw caution to the wind, or we try to go to our own drummer, I think that could really become catastrophic. So I'm comfortable following the recommendations of the state and the governor.
Okay, I guess that's not what I'm asking, and I just want to clarify something. When you say we, you mean Illinois, because we do not eclipse New York, number one. But
United States.
I think you guys are missing the point of my question. My question is, what is the policy of the village going to be when it comes to those citizens and business owners, and they exist, I'm just letting you know they exist, that are going to choose to resume their normal activities May 1, regardless of what Pritzker decides to do. Do you understand where I'm going with it? I want to know what is going to be our policy in terms of locally enforcing what Pritzker's order says. Are we as a village going to revoke business licenses? Are we going to issue citations to people who are using our park facilities? Those are the questions I want to ask. What is our board policy going to be in terms of what happens starting May 1 in the event he does decide to extend the order?
Well, May 1st.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I have to say with you, as being a former clerk, and you've had to deal with all of these businesses, and you've been a part of, the government and the policies for the past 4 years, and, been really involved in these businesses. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on it.
I personally do not feel that we should enforce it at the local level. Let the state handle anything that they decide to do. I do not feel we should be enforcing anything at the local level. Let that situation work out in the courts in the event that there's a court challenge. I don't feel that we should be asking the sheriff to go out and arrest anyone using our park. I don't feel our code enforcement officers should be going and issuing citations, and I don't think we should threaten to revoke anyone's license. That's my personal opinion, and that's based on working with these businesses for the last 5 years, and also my personal opinion on the existing Illinois law, the Illinois Emergency Management Act, and what the text actually says. So that's where I'm going on.
If I can chime in, this is Carlo. I agree with your statement about let the state enforce it in a sense. However, I don't think any of our code enforcement or our law enforcement has enforced any kind of regulations on anybody at this point because of the stay-at-home order and the shutdown. I would suggest that I think it's still premature to try and dictate what the next move the state will make, the governor will make, because if we say April 30th, to me is a fictitious date. It was a hopeful date 7 weeks ago. So for us to judge that today, I would love to see restaurants open. I mean, I go to the grocery stores. I went to Aldi when they had one lane this way, one lane that way, east and west, or north and south. I've been there, done that. I want to go to a restaurant just as much as anybody else. I'm still ordering locally almost every night. I would tell you that I think it's premature for us to answer that question. My personal opinion, I think that I'm not a big fan of what's going on in government, both local and, state and federal. We can bicker at each other and yell all day. At the end of the day, we have people losing their lives, and it's very serious. And you know what? I want to go home to my kids every day. So I think it's fictitious to even ponder what we're doing April 30th, because I don't think that's a real day.
Okay, so here's what I'm explaining to you, and maybe I'm not making my point, so please bear with me here, and I apologize. I'm doing the best I can. The date is not fictitious. He has an existing executive order that requires businesses, non-essential businesses, to be closed in non-essential activities, right? And that extends through April 30th, and that is a legal executive order. What is in question is, does he have the power under Illinois law to extend it past April 30th? So my question is, in the event he does, what is our policy? And I won't think it's premature to discuss this now, because by the time we meet again, it won't be until May 13th. So maybe we could, decide to have an emergency meeting and discuss it then. But my point is, it's not premature to have a consensus about what the policy of the village will be in terms of local enforcement. Because this is a momentum that is not only gaining steam nationally, it's gaining steam in Illinois. And I think we have to, recognize that fact and recognize that that may come into play here. And we, as a board, need to figure out what that policy is going to be. Because it's not a fictitious date, it's a date that the governor set. And the likelihood that he wants to extend it, at least in part of this state, is very, very good. And given the numbers in Illinois, Will County, and that whole part of Will County, it's very likely that we will fall into an extension of some sort. So it's my understanding he's considering opening up counties that have, a lesser impact by this virus than what is local in Cook County and the Collier counties. So I guess that's my point. I just want to know what is our policy going to be, and I don't think it's premature, because by the time we meet again, as I said, it will be May 15th, and that's almost a full 2 weeks after the expiration of the April 30th stay-at-home order.
All right.
This is Trustee Sweet. I don't think we can answer your question, Trustee Hope. I think we need to just see what it looks like the governor is going to, it sounds like he may extend this to mid-May. I think at best, if we need to do an emergency meeting, maybe that's the way we go. I don't think we have an answer right now tonight.
We don't have an answer, and the answer to your answer is we do not have an answer to it.
It's hard to do this on Zoom. I don't mean to interrupt it. I would say I agree with Carlo, and Carlo has been for this. His family is in Italy. They are struggling, and so I am, I get it. I get both sides of it, and then I see, I'm not allowed to go to Michigan. I'm not allowed to see my parents. I mean, it is very hard. I'd like to hear from Trustee Sesmino as a business owner what his thoughts are.
Well, my thoughts are pretty simple. As a business owner, and I'm sure I represent other business owners, the people that want to stay home should stay home, and the people that, I'm not sure how many other people on this panel own their own business, but we're struggling, we're suffering. A lot of people here are still, I can't speak for everybody, but you're still getting checked, A lot of people are qualifying for the federal grants, and I don't know, I just think that, I know we mentioned not playing God, but we're playing God with businesses. So, we should take this into consideration. Maybe not today, but maybe it's something legal counsel could look into, because it's going to come up, and it just seems that we keep pushing it over to the next meeting, well, we're running out of time. So I just think we should be vigilant of that, and just keep that in your mind when you make these decisions.
And I can see it, and I have a business to myself, and it's definitely hurting because no one's on the street. I'd love to have the cars on the street, because then I get in accidents and I get to fix them and I make some money. So it's real simple. Here's what it is. Nobody knows what this disease is. Nobody knows who has it. Everyone in this room could have it. Have you been tested? Have you been tested? Have you been tested? Have you been tested? All right, so you've got most of the people that are in this room that haven't been tested. And the problem is the numbers aren't really going down that much. The numbers are going up. And then deaths are happening a lot more, and they're also happening to a lot younger people. I mean, they had infants die, they had a 4-year-old die, they had a 5-year-old die, and how many other people that we really don't even know? we're thinking just about Illinois right now. Indiana is almost catching up to what we've got right now. So my answer would be real simple. I'm not God. I'm not anyone that has the power to say, hey, let's end this and everyone go out and party. So I would say that it stays the way it is until the CDC says it's okay to do it. When I listen to the federal end of it, and you've got the people that are, that's what they do for a living. They tell you about all these diseases. And they're all saying the same thing. We're not ready for it. And they say that if it comes back the second time, it's going to come back with a vengeance. Do they know that that's for sure? No, they don't, because everyone's guessing right now. So why don't we just give it a little time, let it handle out, let's see what they do. If the governor wants to do it, let him do it. If he gets in trouble, he gets in trouble. Then they will decide down in Springfield. They're not going to decide here in Homer Glen.
Mayor, I'd like to ask Trustee Rubin, Trustee Pesmino something. You just said that we keep putting off, I think you said we keep putting off the voter until next time, till next time, till next time. I don't understand what we put off. I mean,
Well, not
what Trustee Holtz just asked us about is something
Well, that was this specific one, but then the other one that I was referring to was like, for example, when we were speaking for the businesses, the packages that we were gonna do, we talked about having to vote the next day, and we thought it was a good idea to keep pushing it over and over and over. So I meant as a whole, not just for this specific case.
The packages being our short-term bridge loans? I mean, because those are progressing, and right now we have probably a dozen or more that have been approved and are pending, right?
Right now we're at $45,000 out.
So that's 9 approved, and
Right.
there are
And
pending.
we have more.
Right, they're pending. So I mean, we've already acted on that, and we've acted, obviously, we've been trying to share our social media, and like.
There's no doubt that you've acted, but I'm not trying to say, I know what you're trying to do, believe me. It's not that, I never said you missed anything.
Well, you said.
I said, can I finish? I said that we, excuse me?
Don't do that, please.
Don't do what?
Wait, stop it. Finish your thought and then let.
Well, he asked me a question, he didn't let me finish my
All
thought.
right, go ahead.
Thank you. You're asking me what I meant we pushed over and over. It seems to me, and since we're the one in the bounds here, because, you know, I like taking a situation, solving it at that moment.
Okay.
Some people like thinking it over, taking a few days because they have that luxury. That's all I'm saying. So, I'm not sure what you were doing just now, but we're all on the same team here, so don't try to turn it around and stick it on me.
I'm asking you, what have we pushed off? You said we pushed it off time and time again.
Yeah, you have.
But why?
And not just this specific situation, but since the beginning, well, a few of us have been trying to get the answers now, during the meetings while we're out here. It seems that we're just like, well, let's think about it, let's talk about it, and then let's push it over, which is fine, it's great. It's just, you know, forgive me for trying to fix it now. That's all I'm saying.
I'm asking you, what have we put off?
And I told
What
you.
should we have taken up tonight that we put off last
I
night?
answered that question already.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I did.
What did we put off?
Well, then I can answer it with you offline, or
What did we put
unless you
off?
want to make a show out of it now.
2 weeks ago that we should have taken up tonight.
I answered that question.
Could you tell me again? I must have forgotten.
When we talked about the loans for the businesses and acting right away, you said that, or, you know, the board's decision was to move on and talk about it and think about it and see what happens. Because it's not that bad now, and we don't know what's happening. And, you know, the usual stuff, that's all I'm saying. So you don't want to act right away, that's good for you.
I did act right away. We enacted that program 4 weeks ago, I believe. 2 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. We enacted that program.
But there were certain things that I wanted decisions on that day, and most of them, and other board members wanted that same day. It seems like we pushed it over, and that's fine. That's your tactic on doing it. That's great.
This is your tactic, Trustee Pesmino.
There's no tactic. I want to get it done now.
Point of order.
Period.
Knock it off. We're supposed to be working together, not against each other. It's real simple here. We're looking out for my residents, for your residents, for your residents. Nobody else. That's what we're looking out for. Business-wise, I understand it. I'm in the same position everybody else is. So, I would love them to be blowing the doors. They don't want to do it because they're saying it's not time to do it yet. And I understand. And
Mayor, I agree with you. He brought it up and he wanted to hit it on the head, so I just answered him. So I was
Let me
I'm
finish.
sorry. He went there, I went there too.
Let me finish. So,
Point of order. The trustees have a right to speak and finish their thought and not be silenced by your gavel.
Well, you're out of order right now, so I will continue. Because I do have the power, because I am the mayor. All we're trying to do is make what's best for you. That's all we're trying to do. And what she's trying to do right now is she's showing that I put her.
Not everybody, I'm agreeing with you. I was just responding to his direct question to me. I agree with exactly everything you said, and there's a few things I didn't agree with I kept my mouth shut with because I want to play ball, okay? So trust me, if there's anybody here that wants to get stuff done, it's me.
No, I think everyone wants to get something done, but we have to do it when we can do it. And Ann, when you decide to run for something in Springfield and you have the power, knock your socks off. You do whatever you want. But what you're asking us to do, we can't, and we won't, and I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.